Hey, everybody, welcome to Empowerment Sessions with yours truly, Philip Suber. Now, this podcast is meant to empower the authentic version of you to impact the world around you like only you can. So, before we get into our conversation, if you haven't already, please take a moment and subscribe. Hit that subscribe button and also share with someone that you know. All right, ready? Let's go. Hey everybody, this is Philip Super, and as always, I'm grateful and thankful for the opportunity to come into your world, your space, your time. Thank you for subscribing, thank you for following, and staying close with every session. Today, I just want to do a follow-up. I don't know what time it is that you're hearing this, but today is actually the 1st of March. It is the beginning of a new month, and um, on my calendar every month is on the 1st. It is a reminder that is set to evaluate where I am. And as I begin to recall and recollect on the things that we've talked about as this year has progressed, it's 3 months, and we've been talking about seasons and just transitions of in the stewardships and the perspectives, seasonal alignments, and just learning and even identifying the places of hidden growth as we go through each and every season of our lives. And I wanted to take this particular session as a Selah moment, to pause, to think on these things, to reflect, and to see where we are. What transitions have you encountered as you have progressed throughout this year? What's changed? What has remained the same? And furthermore, where are you right now in your thinking? Where are you in your goals and your strategies? Where are you in your heart, in your heart's posture as it relates to your feelings and your emotions and your emotional well-being? Where are you even in your mental health? Where are you as it relates to your physical health? Where are you? And I think about in Genesis where Adam and Eve are in the garden, and Eve has partaken of this forbidden fruit, and they find themselves in a place, both Adam and Eve find themselves in a different place, in a different being, a state of being, should I say, in a different state of being. And the Bible says that God comes, and his question to Adam is, where are you? And it's not that God was oblivious to where Adam was, but it was more of a statement for Adam to take and digest within himself. Where am I? What has transpired that has put me in a different place? And I want to offer this question to you, not necessarily that we're looking for something wrong or that we're looking for something right, but we simply want to identify where we are so that as we continue, as we progress throughout this year, that we can make decisions that are in alignment with where we want to be, with who we are and our identity, so that we can make decisions as it relates to the agreements that we've made in reference to perceptions and thought processes, the way that we feel about certain individuals, certain situations, certain instances, certain circumstances in our lives. We have to understand where we are. So for this session, I'm giving you homework. Where are we? Because I realize that if we don't take the time to stop and analyze where we are, we'll venture off track. And by the time that we realize it, it will be too late, in the sense that we've veered so far away from the road and the pathway in which we've intended to go. But because we have not made the analysis, because we're not aware, we didn't take the time to stop and to pause and to reflect and see where we were, where we are, that we will have much more work ahead of us to get back to where we need to be. So the questions that we're asking ourselves in this moment is, where are we? Where are we in our thinking? Where are we in our habits? Where are we in our relationships? Where are we in our finances? Where are we in our emotions? Where are we in the posture of our heart? These are important questions that I believe absolutely every human being on the earth should ask themselves. Otherwise, we will continue to exist and not fully live the purposeful life with the intentions that we started with. I don't like to really talk about New Year's resolutions, but we have them. And it is the common belief that we start with great intentions, but we lose sight of them and oftentimes lose sight of the goals. And we find ourselves in a place where we've given up on the goals, we've abandoned the pathway, we've given up on the disciplines, the work has been too hard. And at the end of the year, we don't have the results that we looked for, that we anticipated in the beginning. And then there are some people who look at the goals and set those goals and they make a commitment to themselves. One of the books that I love to refer to is The Four Agreements by Miguel Ruiz, my apologies. And one of the things he talks about in reference to the Four Agreements is to be impeccable with your word. And one of the greatest things that we can do is be true to ourselves and be true to our own commitments. To be true and to be integral with our own commitments. It's hard to be committed to others when we can't be truly committed to our own selves. And a lot of times we find in lives that it is so easy to commit to external things and negate the things that are most valuable, and that is us. We are the most valuable asset to our own being. We are the most valuable asset in our lives. And many times we're so hooked in, zoomed into, we're so locked in to the events and the occurrences that happens in others' lives and how we can assist, that we forget that we are more valuable when we pertain to us and that we can be an asset to other people. And I hope that makes sense as I'm saying it, because this particular session is one where it's all about reflection. Reflection so that we can make sure that we're headed in the right direction. So after you ask yourselves the questions that I just named earlier, is there a need for redirection? Have we veered off the course? Is there a need to get back? Is there a need to change up some habits? Or maybe is there a need to change the plan for the same vision? Do we need to change some of the methods that we're using in order to accomplish the goals that we originally have set? Because sometimes the plans will change. Sometimes we need to call an audible. Sometimes we need to pivot. Sometimes we need to go back in the huddle and we need to look at the drawing board again and see, where did we go? What happened that we didn't anticipate? And what are the moves that we need to make so that we can still accomplish the goal? Sometimes it's not necessarily about the goal, but it's the progression as we get to the goal. And this is where the beauty of life is. The beauty of life is the journey, the pathway of discovery. So if you find yourself, after looking at these, listening and looking at these questions and analyzing where you are in your life, you find that I've taken some routes that didn't work out in my favor. I need to reroute this thing. I don't want you to get discouraged. I don't want you to beat yourself up. I don't want you to begin to create this heaviness because you regret. I don't want you to take on that regret. I want you to take on renewal. I want you to take on redirection. I want you to take on recommitment. I want you to take on refocus. And I want you to pause and restore the vision, restore clarity, bring back the clarity by focusing on the intention in which you have originally set. Put your heart in the right place. You are your greatest asset, but you can also be your greatest enemy. In me. You can be your greatest asset and you can also be your greatest enemy. So choose to be an asset to yourself so that you can be an asset to others. What are your sleeping habits? Have you taken the time to cultivate disciplines that will help propel you? Or have you not given attention to the habits and the disciplines that you foster and have negated to see how they influence your decision making and your progression or the lack thereof? All questions that are valid, that are worthwhile. So get out a pen and paper, find you some time where you can analyze where you are. Analyze where you are, see where you are, take a moment to pause, Selah, to think on these things. Now, the encouragement I have for you is the encouragement that I have for myself. I'm overjoyed with the progressions that I've made. I'm overjoyed with the contentment that I have found, even in my present state, knowing that there is more, that I'm not settling, as we talked about on a previous session, but I've learned to be content. I've learned to embrace happiness in the present moment and not let my happiness be overtaken by regret because of what is not. I've learned to be grateful for what is, but to also have the discipline and the keenness to understand what can be and begin to set myself towards intentions and the focus and the actions that are necessary, that are needed to make those things happen. So my question to you in this session is, where are you? Answer those questions and know that that's just the beginning. If you're in a good place, let's keep going. If you're in need of some redirection, let's redirect. Let's get some wisdom. Let's get some advice. Let's re-strategize. Have we geared away from the strategy? Is there no fault in the strategy, but just fault in our consistency in implementing the strategy? Whatever that is, let's make the pivot. Let's make the redirection. As my boss would say, what is the pathway of course correction? Have we course corrected, right? Have we taken those steps? What are those steps? Be specific. Make sure they're obtainable, they're measurable, right? SMART goals. We take the practicality of those things and we implement them into our daily lives. One of the worst things we can do is be very strategic and intentional about the day-to-day happenings of our jobs, our occupations, but not take that same intensity, that same motivation, and that same intentionality into our personal lives and who we are as individuals, as people, and begin to see where we want to be, appreciate where we are, right? Appreciate the lessons that we've learned from the experiences that we've encountered. Be intentional. As we go forward, I like to think of, and this may be a crazy example, but Dave Ramsey, he talks about the debt snowball, right? And how you start with the easy ones and you build them up and you build up after you've paid off this one debt. Then the money that you would use to pay that one, you begin to attack the biggest debt. And so this debt snowball, it begins to build. It begins to gain momentum. You started off clearing off the small debts, and now you're attacking the larger ones. And you continue until you're debt free. Well, start with the small goals. What are the small things that are going to help you gain the momentum that you need? Don't stretch yourself beyond your capacity in this moment, in this season of your life, wherever you are. You may have big dreams and big aspirations and big goals, but the old saying is, how do we eat an elephant? Not that you would eat one, but we eat it one bite at a time. How do you win a race? How do you finish a marathon? One step at a time. And you are consistent, one step at a time, day by day. You're consistent, and you're very intentional, and you're very mindful. You're mindful of where you are, the state of your being, so that you can endure. A saying that we have in the church is that the race is not given to the swift nor to the strong, but to the one that endures. And so, listen, it is about your endurance at this moment in your life. Yes, I know that, we're all about the hustle and the bustle. We're all about the grind, but I want to tell you, don't wear yourself out before you get to the finish line. Don't wear yourself out before you get to the finish line. Endure. Run this race with grace, with swag, with intention, with mindfulness, right? All right. I hope you've enjoyed this session. This session is a little bit shorter because the work is on you. And trust me, I'm right here in the same boat with you. And I am making my list. I am observing and making observations. I am doing the very things that I am also encouraging you to do. We're in this thing together. All right. I'll see you next time. Let's talk. Hey, thanks again for joining me in this discussion today, Empowerment Sessions. I really appreciate and hope that you did take the time to subscribe if you already haven't, and also if you took a moment to share it. If you haven't, you still got time to do it. Now, listen, remember that this podcast is meant to empower the authentic version of you to impact the world around you like only you can. Now you can follow me even after the podcast is over on Instagram at empowerment_sessions or at I am Philip Super. And even on Facebook, you can join the empowerment community as well if you follow me on there with Empowerment Sessions page. All right. I look forward to adding you guys to the group and seeing your comments on how this podcast has really impacted you in a positive way. Until next time, remember, it's all about you being empowered to help the next generation.